So now I'd like to welcome, we have a keynote speaker planned for today. Our speaker at lunch today is a member of the WPI class of 1981, where he graduated receiving his Bachelor's of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering. He was initiated into Phi Kappa Theta in 1977 and served as mess treasurer and vice president of the chapter. He's received both of WPI's Young Alumni Awards, including the Boynton Award and the Washburn Award, covering both towers, and currently serves as a member of the WPI Board of Trustees. Professionally, he's served as a senior executive at AT&T, Sprint in Bell Canada, and in 2002 he formed his own firm and continues as a managing partner today. He lives in Northern Virginia with his wife Kirsten and their 5 children. Please welcome Brother Fred Rucker.
Thank you, Adam. I guess I'm the tall one, right? So good afternoon. If you saw the little postcard that you all got, as I did, I'm the TBD and the postcard under the election speaker. I'm thrilled to be here. It's good to see some friendly old faces and some new. I'm inspired by what I'm hearing from the developments at CAP, and Andrew did a great job in summarizing. As already been said, I'm a class of 1981. Started my CAP relationship in 1977, and so for those of you that do know me from then, I do look a little older. I lost a lot of hair. I do notice at least one member of that. Now I see more than one, but I see Keith Sylvester back there that looks like he hasn't aged a day. He just put a little gray in his hair. Class of 80. So some of you are doing a little bit better with your outward appearance than I, but feel beautiful inside. Feel good inside. So when I graduated from WPI, it was an interesting time. Not dissimilar from today. We were in a recession. We did have sky-high inflation. I mean, really sky-high. I know the Fed's trying to get us back there, but double-digit. We had just replaced the peanut farmer from Georgia in the White House with the guy from Hollywood. So, and that wasn't a slap at either, by the way. I haven't revealed whether I'm a Democrat or Republican. I am in a very democratic state here in Massachusetts, so I have to be careful with my revelations. We still were at war, Cold War with the Soviet Union. We didn't have broadband internet access. At least I didn't. I don't know if you all did. But we did have our brotherhood. We had CAP, and we had, in some respects, we were sort of, if you wanted to go back and think about what fraternity life was like in 1980, late 70s, most of you have seen that movie Animal House. Had a little bit to do with that plot, I think. Although, again, not taking a particular role in that movie. We did earn great educations in the late 70s and 80s, and then we went off and tried to make our impact on the world. So, in being asked to speak, and I've got about 15 minutes worth of comments, 20, 10, depending on how fast I talk, I do have to make a confession. In going back and thinking about my CAP experience, I really had to go back and reopen the history books. What's the history of CAP? I started to do a little bit of homework, and I learned some things. I learned some things that are, in some respects, more relevant in explaining my relation. Hey, Paul, good to see you. My relationship with CAP than I probably realized back in 1977 when I pledged. Now I have lots of great fond memories of CAP. I lived in all 3 of the houses. The old house is the only one standing. That was my last house. Thanks for not knocking it down. But the confession is I always felt like I was a bit of an outsider in the CAP fraternity. Now, as I reflect back and I do some of this history, I think it turns out maybe I wasn't such an outsider. Maybe I was more the prototypical cap, and a little bit like what I think you're bringing into the Brotherhood today. I was, for example, just by sort of trivia things, I was born in the same year that the new cap was formed. I'm not 75, I know we have a 75th anniversary here, but I was born in 1959, and that is when Phi Kappa and Theta Kappa Phi, or Theta Kappa, whatever, close enough, right? Were merged. I learned through history, and I didn't realize this at the time, that had I wanted to be a Cap in 1959, of course I was just born, but if I had wanted to, I probably wouldn't have been invited because I wasn't Catholic. And I didn't realize until reading that Cap was an all-Catholic fraternity until well into the 60s. In fact, I think it took some act in Rome to sort of alter that trend. Now, something must have rubbed off because I did marry a local Catholic girl. You've already heard I have 5 kids. Not that that's a Catholic thing. And those 5 kids have about 20 cousins from my wife's side. And I've attended well over 1,000 masses because I did convert to Catholicism in 1990 and very proud card-carrying Catholic today. So I guess I would have gotten that waiver notice from the Cap Rush chairman at the time. So I was born at the year of the Cap merger. I'm a self-proclaimed outsider, converted Catholic. What else? Well, I settled in Northern Virginia about 16 years ago, and it turns out that 2 of my neighbors, not next door neighbors, but sort of close by, are Caps themselves. Theodore McCarrick and Donald Worrell, both the former and current archbishops of the Catholic Church in the Washington, D.C. area. So they are there to both help me remember that I'm a Cap, but also not to let me stray too far from my new Catholic family. Speaking of famous Caps, and yes, it's always fun to just toss out the Cap trivia. I guess everybody in this room, I didn't remember some of these names, but I guess we all knew that JFK was an honorary Cap. Do you all know that? Was I the last one to read that memo? And then Paul Allen, who was Bill Gates's co-founder, Microsoft, was a Cap. And we certainly have our WPI Cap titans of industry, guys like Ron Zarella, Paul Allaire, Paul Lacouture, John Casey, some titans in the making, some in this room. We've got our famous Cap football alum and Hall of Famers like Dan Devine and Vince Dooley. We've got some entertainers like Bob Hope and Ed McMahon, Gene Kelly. You all know this. So overall, I think we've got about 50,000 Caps from those first days when the fraternity was the gleam in a group of young men's eyes, I think, at the campus of Brown University. So 50,000 alum. You know, I was born and raised in the rural state of Vermont, and when I came to WPI, I was sort of that's another one of those outsider things. I think I was one of 3 kids from the state. It's only 60 miles as the crow flies from here, but at that time, and even today, I know there are a few Vermonters, maybe none in this room. Anybody in this room a Vermonter? God bless you guys. You know, you take the 50,000 Cap alums and you stick them in a stadium, that's the 2nd largest city in the state of Vermont. I mean, it's a small state. So, you know, I think you know, I had to make some adjustments, but Cap provided for me just a fabulous foundation. So my Cap experience started 33 years ago. I was a Morgan Hall freshman, dragged along by, just as Andrew was describing the old way of pledging, I was dragged along by some friends to a party, A term, at CAP. He went to a couple other parties. And I got rushed and I pledged and joined the House. I love WPI. I had a lot going for me at the time, I guess. I was the class president my sophomore, junior, and senior years. I was the captain of the track team. I was the New England decathlon champion. I had a lot of great accolades. I just had a great ride at WPI, and I think that's when I peaked. but for me, and this is really, I think about this often. For me, the opportunity that CAP represented was both one of brotherhood, but it also gave me exposure to a guy that I know we were going to honor tonight, and that's Bill Grogan, Dean Grogan. I don't think Bill's here. If he is, he's hiding. He usually doesn't hide well. Okay, it's okay.